Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into Loyal Media Sports Podcast. I am Richie, joined by my co-host Ali, and we'll be going into the breakdown of what happened in Week 6 around the NFL with the New York Jets. They fall to 0-6, and it is looking darker than ever for the New York Jets. We will get into the trade of Steve McLendon. He is now a member of the Tampa Bay Bucaneers. Give our take on Adam Gase, and talk about how this might be the beginning of the fire sale for the New York Jets, and there will be a lot of fan favorites that will be dealt. So, Ali, what is your first reaction to this game yesterday? And the Jets got shut out from the Miami Dolphins 24-0.
I feel like the Jets, wherever they travel, wherever the game they follow, I think they step into the stadium and was like, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose this game bad. I mean, that's what it is. It's what this team is right now because they have no hope. They have no energy. They have absolutely nothing positive going for them. And I feel like they're just out there just one of the worst teams ever to play football. I mean, it's just horrible to watch. And, you saw reporters actually like sitting at home this week and they were losing their mind. And now you can see the mindset of every Jets fan that's watched every Jet game. And you see why we're so angry. You can see why we're so pissed off at this team because this team is awful. It's absolutely terrible. And it all starts with the coaching staff. I mean, with Greg Williams taking a shot at Adam Gase, if they're not on the same page, how is this team going to be on the same page? And if that's not going to work, and openly on CBS broadcast, they showed a video of them talking, and it kind of looked like they were yelling at each other. But I don't know. I just this team is the worst. And Connor Hughes actually mentioned it on his podcast. I just saw on his live, and he said that he doesn't know if Adam Gase is going to be the head coach right now on Sunday. He doesn't know. But there's a chance they give him a one game, but he's like, why would they give him the one game, right? Because maybe Sam Darnold's back. Maybe Denzel Mims back, so he's going to see if they can compete against Buffalo this week, which obviously no one thinks that. But obviously they might give him one game because the season's lost. The season's completely done already. So I don't know what to make from that, but there's that.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to the team looks completely unprepared. The game plan is atrocious. The players feel like they don't have a will to win. They lack energy. There's no really leadership in the locker room. Everybody on the sideline's dead. And it just feels like there's a huge divide. And there's a lot of Miami Dolphins fans commenting on some of my videos and tweets saying like, yeah, listen, like, I remember when Adam Gase was in the Miami Dolphins, and it is exactly what happened with you guys with Gase. The whole team is divided. Nobody enjoys playing for Gase. And that's the environment that we're going through right now. And it's super unfortunate that we have to go through one of the worst NFL coaches in NFL history, because you can't even tell me that there's anything positive about Adam Gase. He was brought in here to be an offensive mind, an offensive genius to turn this offense around. And we know how bad his offense is. But besides his offensive mind, his traits as a head coach is terrible. Leadership qualities, communication, everything about him. I tweeted about this yesterday. I feel like Adam Gase is the only head coach in the NFL that I've never seen take off his mask for a split second to yell at his guys, to hype people up, to argue, to have energy. His mask takes up 90% of his face the entire game, and he just sits there looking at his terrible playbook for the entire game. And it's like frustrating. Like, show me some energy and show me that you care. It seems like he does not care. And obviously, every single Jets fan's on the same page with Adam Gase. We want him gone as soon as possible, but it doesn't seem like he'll be gone as soon as possible. It seems like the Johnsons, who knows what they're thinking. We saw Joe Douglas in the booth yesterday in Miami, and he looked like he was disgusted. He looked just like every other Jets fan. So right now, Joe Douglas is looking at this team, and he is thinking like, wow, I have a lot of work to do. And he is going to be very busy leading up to the trade deadline. We saw Steve McLendon get dealt yesterday. The New York Jets traded away Steve McLendon and a 7th-round pick in 2024, and they got back a 2023 6th-round pick. You might say like that is not a lot of compensation at all, but Joe Douglas is going to trade away anybody with an ounce of value, especially for players that are going to be free agents after this year. If you're a guy on the contract and you're on a 1-year deal and you're going to be a free agent and Joe Douglas has no interest of re-signing you, then he will be trading you, because this team is 0-6 and we're going to be losing with any of the players on the team. So you might as well get rid of them and let the young guys play. So expect a lot of fan favorites to get dealt, and it's going to be a really interesting couple weeks leading up to the trade deadline. But you know what I mean? Going into the Miami Dolphins game, it just looked like it was just so hard to watch. And for all those guys that really thought genuinely that Sam Darnold was the reason that this Jets offense looked so bad in the beginning of the year, you're proven wrong. I'm sorry, but Joe Flacco is playing way worse under Adam Gase, and his numbers are atrocious. Everything about Flacco looks so bad. I'm not saying Sam Darnold played good, but you cannot put the blame on the quarterback and Sam Darnold. And there is a lot of holes on this team. And Trevor Lawrence is not going to solve the issues. But at the same time, if we do land that first overall pick, that definitely needs to be in the conversation because he's a generational talent.
Yeah, I mean, again with Gase, man, I know there's injuries have hit the Jets a lot. The injuries have killed us. But you can look at the 49ers. 49ers have maybe 15 guys on IR. They have so many guys hurt, but every game they play, they compete. They lose by a touchdown, and they compete to the end, and that's what a good coach, Kyle Shanahan, changes his scheme to help the guys that he has on the roster at that time. And that's how they're winning games. That's what a good head coach does. Gase is too stubborn to change his scheme. He thinks the scheme that worked for Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas and all these guys, it's going to work for the Jets when it's completely depleted. That's what his mindset is. He's so in love with his scheme that it's going to work that he's so stubborn to say that I'm wrong that he thinks this is just going to work with the Jets too, which is obviously not working. You're losing by 30 points every game. That's literally what it is now. So maybe change it up because you're kind of on the radar right now for getting fired. So you might want to change that up a little bit because that's how Kyle Shanahan's offense is looking. That's what good head coaches do. They adjust. And he has not adjusted once.
He lacks adjustment qualities, and we've seen that last year going into his first season as a New York Jets head coach. He came out there with a really good scripted first drive on offense, and after that, it just fell apart because he has no adjustments. And going back into the Dolphins game, the defense got lit up in the beginning of the game and gave up a lot of touchdowns, but the defense settled in and they started making turnovers, and they were doing their job. Greg Williams' defense did their job yesterday in terms of the Jets' defense standards because we know they're not good. They gave the offense every opportunity possible to put points on the board, and we got shut out. 0 points from Adam Gase's offense. Absolutely disgraceful. And I don't understand how the Johnsons are looking at these games and thinking that this guy is the future. Maybe they are thinking like, okay, Adam Gase is 100% gone after this year. We're just going to let him ride it out because our history is we never fire coaches in the middle of the year because we don't want to have an interim guy in there, which makes no sense because I'd rather have an interim coach in there with Sam Darnold because me personally, I haven't really lost my faith in Sam Darnold. I want to see him come back with a different play caller with his weapons and see what he can do because I think that this Jets team, the problem goes way beyond the quarterback situation. I think that there's holes everywhere. And it's going to be a really interesting job for Joe Douglas and see how he cleans it up. But you know what I mean? So let's go into the trade situation. So what were your first thoughts of Steve McLendon getting dealt to the Buccaneers? Because that definitely was shocking just in terms of the timing of it. Right after the Dolphins, he's gone, and we barely gave up anything. So what were your really thoughts of that, Ali?
I feel like Joe Douglas is disgusted with this team. He's disgusted with this team, and he knows Adam Gase is not back. He wants to run this team the way he wants to. This is Adam Gase's team right now. There is no leverage Joe Douglas has over him because, he has respect for Gase for bringing him the job. That's it. But Douglas is here for 6 years, and he has a lot of time to change this around, and he has a lot of work to do. And to get draft picks that's what the Jets need. The Jets need to hit on draft picks, and that's what Joe Douglas was brought in to do. And Steve McLendon is a very good locker room guy. He's always been there for the Jets. But again, I think the Jets want draft picks. I think Douglas wants draft picks. And that's what he's done with Jamal Adams. He's done it with all these guys. And I think he's going to maybe do it with, there's other guys like Marcus May that are available that could be in trade. A lot of fan favorites are going to be questioned until the trade deadline. Because if anyone has value, I mean, he's going to trade him. Because right now this team is pretty much going 0-16. And he needs to start off fresh for next year with a new head coach, complete new head coaching staff. Literally everyone needs to be replaced. And, he has to start from scratch. And to do that, you need to get draft picks. You need to get as many picks as you want and get rid of the guys that really, they've been playing well, but they're not doing an impact. They're not impacting the game from a win-loss and like a 20-point deficit or whatever. So he's just trading them. And obviously McLendon was a free agent next year, so it made sense to make that trade. But it is a fire sale. It is a fire sale. I wrote an article about this. Douglas is looking at a fire sale right now and seeing if he can get any value out of any of these guys and, get ready for next season because this season's done.
Yeah, man. Joe Douglas has that long-term vision, and he is kicking on the season. It's pretty obvious, especially with an 0-6 start. You can't expect anything more of it. Going back to last year, the Jets did start 1-7 and did finish the year 6-2. So you never know. The Johnson's mindset and Joe Douglas's mindset could be like, oh yeah, we did it last year. We started 1-7 last year. We finished 6-2. So they could try to keep Gase to see if he can turn it around again and give him that opportunity. That could be a reason why they're not firing him. But I think that he should be gone immediately because I want to see a new play caller in the offense. But yeah, Joe Douglas, has his eyes set on the 2021 offseason, and he is trying to acquire as much draft capital as possible because his philosophy is to build through the draft, and you need as much draft picks as possible in order to do that. And it's going to be a really interesting conversation if the Jets land that first pick because Trevor Lawrence is there, and he's the golden child. He is looked at as the next John Elway, all this stuff. Everyone's hyping him up, rightfully so, because he does look that good. And it's going to be interesting because knowing Joe Douglas, he loves capital. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a team that, say the Jets do land the first pick, there's going to be a team that offers the Jets an insane package for that first pick. And I mean like a lot of picks. Knowing Joe Douglas, he might bite and take that and stick with Sam Darnold and build around him. I'm not saying I agree with that or disagree with that. I'm just saying I'm putting my mind in Joe Douglas, and I'm thinking if he gets that call from a team that is giving up like a ridiculous amount of picks, and Trevor Lawrence is a guy that will require a team to give up that capital because he's that generational of a talent. So it's either Joe Douglas goes that avenue or he trades Sam Darnold for a second-round pick or something else, and he takes Trevor Lawrence, and then we have a rookie contract because that will also help the Jets financially. So it's going to be a really interesting conversation for the rest of the year. I look at it as Sam Darnold, when he gets healthy, he's going to be playing for his job, and he's going to be like, okay, if I don't start winning football games, and this Jets team's going to pick first, and they're going to take Trevor Lawrence and move on from me. If I want to salvage my career as a New York Jets starting quarterback, and I want to be the franchise quarterback here, I need to start winning ball games. And that's probably Sam's mindset at the end of the year. And I'm excited to see what happens. I'm not rooting for the Jets to win or lose. I don't really care. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to let it play out. Us fans, we can root for them to win or lose. It doesn't matter. We have no say. So we just have to wait and see. And it's going to be really interesting to see because this is a really weird time to be a Jets fan because we're all divided. Half of us think this way, half of us think that way. And that's okay. That's the reality of life. But it's going to be really crazy, man. It really is.
No, 100%. I mean, the draft, when the offseason starts, it's going to be crazy for the Jets. It's going to be busy as hell for both of us. I mean, because there's going to be firings everywhere and there's going to be everything. But I don't think – the reason I don't think Adam Gase is fired yet, I don't think they trust Joel Loggins. I don't think they trust Greg Williams to call the plays. They don't trust any of these guys to be the interim coach. And right now, how the team is looking, they're tanking. It's clear. The Jets are not winning a game. They might win one game, but we'll see because 0-16 is very, very possible. We can be joining the Browns in that squad right now, and that's really sad. But I think that's what the Jets need to do because then the ownership will look at this finally and be like, yes, we need to fire him. We don't want any excuse for Adam Gase. We need no excuses for him because we need to go 0-16. Having that first pick helps us get a new head coach. Because he has a chance if he wants to stay with Sam Darnold or he wants to draft Trevor Lawrence. And in my opinion, I think we just need to just keep losing. I mean, keep losing because I think we're just going to do it ourselves because we can't beat any of these teams.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami was the only game that I thought that we could possibly win, and we even lost we got shut out. So how the hell are we going to compete with the Bills next week, the Chiefs next week, and then the Patriots on Monday night? How are we going to do that? So this team is going 0-16, and whatever happens on the draft, what happens. But a lot of people are going to be offering for that first round pick.
Oh
first
yeah,
overall pick.
absolutely. And when it comes to the Jets tanking, for me, it feels like, the Jets are trying to win. It's not like they're losing on purpose, because that's kind of what tanking is. You're losing on purpose. Like, Adam Gase isn't going out there losing. Like, he's trying to win. And that's the saddest part, is this team is trying to win their best. They're going out there and they're trying, and they're failing miserably. And that is really insane to think about, that this team is trying their hardest to go out there and pull out a victory, and they put up 0 points. You see Frank Gore out there dropping F-bombs in the post game. He's fed up. Going into the whole Frank Gore situation, Adam Gase lies to us again. He told us going into the Dolphins game that he's not going to lean on Frank Gore, and he's going to let rookie running back LaMichael Pirine get the ball. And what happens? Frank Gore gets double-digit carries. LaMichael Pirine does not. It just comes down to the Jets head coach lying to us. It is inexcusable. The amount of times I see 37-year-old Frank Gore out there, I'm like, why are you on the field? Like, I respect you. And he's playing well. It's not even like Frank Gore sucks or anything. It's just like, Gore, we have no wins, and you have no future on this team. Like, you're a future Hall of Famer. I have nothing but respect for you, but your time as a Jet should be over, because you are just taking away valuable snaps. And we have this third-string running back in Ty Johnson, who his second carry as a New York Jet, he breaks free for the longest run, it feels like, in years. That was the longer run that Le'Veon Bell ever had as a New York Jet, which is really sad. So it's going to be so interesting to see how this team plays going into next week against Buffalo. I'm hoping that we can get these 3 guys back, because this will the only way that I'm getting any ounce of hope, or not hope, just motivation to watch the game, is if Sam Darnold, Mekhi Becton, and Denzel Mims are all playing. And hopefully Gase is gone, but he's not going to be gone, it looks like, right now. So if those 3 guys are playing, those are 3 guys on offense that could be the future. Obviously the Sam Darnold situation and the quarterback situation, forget that. But Mekhi Becton and Denzel Mims, I still believe, even though we have not seen Denzel yet, and we saw Mekhi Becton, those 2 guys are potentially cornerstone guys that are going to be building for this future on this offense. If hopefully Becton can get durable and he can clean up his injuries, because that is a little concerning to me. But we need to see Denzel get rookie reps, because he needs to have a breakout second year and be healthy. And he's not going to really get confidence if he's not out there on the field as a rookie. And he needs to play this week. I don't want to hear Adam Gase playing it smart, because I don't know if you guys know this, but a time in the Miami, Devontae Parker, wide receiver, when Adam Gase was there, he was battling a hamstring injury and he was ready to play, but Adam Gase refused to play him for whatever reason. And it got to the point where Devontae Parker's agent had to get involved, and he had to talk to the ownership. Hey, listen, my client's healthy. I don't know why Adam Gase is not playing him, but he wants to play. And it was a huge issue in Miami. And I'm nervous. Denzel Mims went up to Adam Gase and said, I'm ready to play. Like, play me. Like, I don't know why you're hesitant. And Gase and the coaching staff, they're playing it smart, because they don't want to rush him in there and get him set back again. But I'm hoping Denzel Mims is out there by next week.
Yeah, man. I think Jets fans need motivation to watch. I mean, I think Denzel Mims does that for you. I mean, I said in the last podcast that the only reason I would want to watch this game is because I want to see the young guys. I want to see Denzel Mims play. I want to see LaMichael Pirine play. I want to see Ashton Darius play. I want to see Mekhi Becton play. I want to see Sam Darnold play. I don't want to see Joe Flacco right now. I don't want to see Frank Gore right now. I mean, where the hell was Chris Herndon yesterday? Ryan Griffin sucks. I mean, everyone on this team is no one I want to see. Jamison Crowder is the only guy on offense that I think maybe is good. I mean, it's just awful to see. I mean, Prashad Perriman hurt his ankle again, but he came back. So it was just like, oh, did you lose him again? Like, after waiting 3 weeks and being excited to see him again. I mean, it's just a mess. And this team is a mess. It's hard to watch. But getting Denzel Mims back can hopefully, make us watch a little bit more. And hopefully we can see him. Because whenever he catches the ball, I'm going to cheer for him. He's a rookie, and he's been dealt through a lot. He had 2 hamstring injuries. And on the first in his rookie year, and it sucks with seeing all these wide receivers, all these rookie wide receivers in the NFL lighting it up. They're like Justin Jefferson, all the Brandon Ayuk, all these guys are going off on every other team. And Denzel Mims, we're just waiting for him to get on the field. So I mean, it's hard to watch, man. And I think Denzel Mims boosts it up a little bit, but hopefully the Jets lose again by like 30 and then Adam Gase gets the boot. But again,
let's hope.
It's hope. It's hope, and who else? Maybe we're gonna get another couple more trades this week because I think Joe Douglas is looking for every possible option for the Jets and looking at the future now because Adam Gase is not part of the future anymore. Joel Loggins is not part of the future. None of this coaching staff is part of the future for Joe Douglas because he's seen enough.
Yeah, man. You couldn't have said it better myself. That does it for this edition of Loyal Media Sports Podcast. We appreciate you guys watching or tuning into the end. Expect a lot more content in the future. It's a dark time as Jets fans. I feel like I say this every week, but me and Ali will be providing content through it all, give you guys some sliver of hope, a realistic optimistic. We're not delusional. We're not going to give you guys false hope and say, oh, don't worry, we're going to finish the year 10-6 and go on a 10-game win streak. We understand how terrible this organization is, and we're going to bring you guys the facts and just bring you guys our opinions, basically. So, yeah, that does it for this episode. And make sure you subscribe to Loyal Media on YouTube and give us a rating on Apple or Spotify. We'd appreciate that. So, yeah, that does it for this, and we'll catch you guys at our next episode. Peace out, guys.